Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the podcast. It has been a while, and if you are new to the podcast, you've probably noticed that there are some changes. Welcome to the Bliss Report. I'm Dr. Sacheen, here to give you your dose of daily bliss. Welcome, welcome, welcome. For those of you who may not be familiar with the Bliss Report because you're used to this being So You're Getting Divorced, yes, we have made some big changes here. Yes, the rollout's going to be it's going to come in stages and waves, but I wanted to come on. I want to just say we're still here. In fact, we're back and better than before. So welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the introduction of the Bliss Report as I try to explain, and no, I do explain what it is that we're going to be doing, how we're going to be doing this going forward, and hopefully you'll be along for the ride. So shall we jump in? Well, first of all, I have to pause for a word from our sponsor for this short podcast. We'll be hearing a word from Anchor, so let's get to that, and I'll be right back. Hey everybody, it's Dr. Sacheen from So You're Getting Divorced, the podcast, here to talk to you about Anchor and the ease at which you too can launch and start your own podcast. If you haven't heard about Anchor, let me just break it down for you. Here is the 411. Number one, it's free. This is a great way to get started if you've never done podcasting, or if you're a pro and you really like the idea of using your phone or your computer to get your podcast going without all the hassle, because number two, they will distribute it for you to places like Pocket Casts, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. That's a pretty sweet deal. Next, you can make money while you're doing your podcast with no minimum listenership, and that's pretty darn spectacular. So, follow these instructions. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Now, let's get back to the show. All right, at Blissties, thank you for tuning in. Be sure that you take some time to like, comment, subscribe, and share this podcast for anyone that you think might need a little bit of bliss in their world. So what is happening? Why the change? What did I do behind the scenes? Well, here's the thing. I listen to a lot of podcasts myself, and as I was surveying the lay of the land and looking at what my audience, the people that I talk to or listening to or really engaging with, what I found is that the posts with the most engagement or the podcasts with the most downloads are the ones where I'm trying to make y'all feel good, where I'm giving you not only, or more so when I'm giving you good information, because this is an educational podcast first and foremost, but also when I'm inspiring you and motivating you on other levels. And I really appreciate those podcasts that let me think about things and that swim in a different and deeper space. There's a lot of chatter in podcast land, right? And in that chatter, I want to cut through and remind the world that there is a place for pure, unadulterated thinking about joy, about the things that make us unique and special, about the concepts and content and ideas that just bring us happiness and bring us to a deeper fulfillment of ourselves. So to that end, So You're Getting Divorced is getting retired. Not that it didn't serve its wonderful purpose, because it did. But one of the things that I want to really do for women who have going through a divorce, who have come out the other side and are ready to do Act 2, our second chapter, the second chapter, the second act clubs I like to call it, is say in that second act, let's also focus not just on rebuilding ourselves financially, which we'll talk about sometimes, and emotionally, but also let's focus on our happy factor. Let's focus on our bliss factor. The very definition of bliss is the state of ultimate perfection, of ultimate joy, of ultimate happiness, And it may seem hard to get to sometimes, especially when you are in circumstances where, you just don't know how you're going to get from one day to the next. And it can be really hard to find a moment of unadulterated joy or unadulterated happiness. And that's where the Bliss Report comes in every day, Monday through Friday, bringing you some little bit of unadulterated happiness, bliss, joy in your life, so that you have something to hang on to, something to hold on to when the times seem a little rougher than they maybe should. And so to that end, the Bliss Report is now born. It's now coming from a place of seeking joy. looking for a place, looking for joy in all the things that we do. And really, it's the only way to start your day, right? It's really the only way to really set yourself up for a good day all day is to have a little bit of joy in the morning. So here's your little bit of joy in the morning. Who knew, right? Perfectly wonderful. Like I said, I listen to so many different podcasts myself. And one of the things that I have found for myself is when I listen to heavy podcasts, and I listen to a lot of different kinds of podcasts because I like audio, I got to space those throughout my day. I got to put those somewhere in my day, right? I can't just listen to them in first thing in the morning because I've got to pace that kind of processing. I need to start my day in a place of pleasure. I like to start my day in a place of happiness. I like to start my day with meditation, thinking about my internal life as well as my external life. I like to start my day with, I don't do affirmations necessarily, but I do meditations, as I just said. I like to spend some time thinking about whatever it is I want to think about, letting my mind wander freely. And there's such joy and a lot to be learned from yourself if you allow your mind to just wander freely. And in one of those mornings of wandering, I came up with this idea of the Bliss Report, and really thinking about what brings you significant joy daily. And there is a lot of things that are vying for our attention all day long that are not bringing us significant joy because there's significant sorrow and there is significant angst and there is significant stuff that vies for our attention, especially right now during COVID-19 pandemic. There are so many things that are vying for our attention. And so the one thing that I've begun to do, or I've been doing for quite a while, is what are the things that bring me the most joy that I can focus on in the morning to bring joy to the rest of my day. One of those things is my son. I mean, he's my whole world, and he brings me a lot of joy. The other thing is thinking about all the different aspects of my life that I want to make sure are infused with some kind of joy, and I want to make the commitment to bring joy to those spaces as often as I can. So to that end, I've developed what I'm calling the Bliss Code, and the Bliss Code are 4 things, 4 areas of my life where I'm asking you to join with me in making yourself a promise to bring joy into these 4 areas. And the Bliss Codes are healthy, happy, hot. Yes, we're talking about your body, your sexuality, your sensuality, and money. So my tagline for the Bliss Codes is being happy, healthy, hot, and wealthy, because we all deserve to be happy, healthy, hot, and wealthy. We all are entitled to happiness, to good, healthy body, to beautiful skin, to beautiful teeth, to beautiful eyes, to beautiful everything that makes us feel good, that makes us look healthy. We're all entitled to be hot as you want to be, as beautiful as you can possibly stand yourself, and to feel hot, to feel sexy, to feel sensual, and to feel pleasure. And we all deserve however much money we're comfortable with in our bank accounts. And if we ask ourselves, how do we get to joy in those spaces instead of how do we work to get in those spaces, I believe that we can get there to the place of bliss a whole lot faster. That we are in a hustle culture, and it's really easy sometimes in the hustling to forget that some of this stuff is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be happy. It's supposed to be enjoyable. There is a lot of talk about, for instance, being hot, being sexy, being sensual. There's a lot of work in the ether of social media that talks about sexuality like it's a job. And I'm just like, it's not a job. It's supposed to be fun. If you're looking at your sexuality and your sex life as a job, like, I'll talk online dating down in the episodes, that one's to come. But when you start thinking about how much work we're being asked to put in so many different aspects of our life, what I at least have observed is that you start to steal and leech the joy out of those aspects. Like health, for another example, a lot of work in health, a lot of work to get healthy, and a lot of language around it that speaks to the hardness of it and the struggle of it. But at the same time, I'm like, but isn't some of this supposed to be fun? Or shouldn't some of this feeling around being healthy come from a place of pleasure and not just a place of fear and a place of pain, because you can scare people all day long about getting healthy, but until it feels good, it's really difficult to embrace it. And so this podcast is all about helping you feel good and embrace things that you may be struggling to embrace because you've only been asked to focus on them in a way that's negative or that's a struggle, instead of in a way that's, I get to do this. I get to embrace my health. I get to embrace my happiness. I get to embrace making money however I see fit. I get to embrace my sexuality, my sensuality, my hotness, and however I see fit. I don't need to get a BBL if I don't want one, but daggone it, if I want one, I want to be able to flaunt that puppy and bring it home and have it be the best thing since sliced bread. However you fall on the spectrum of that, you should be able to feel good about it. And that's what the Bliss Report is. Your daily one-stop shop for all things blissful, for hearing about things that should make you happy, for knowing that out there in the world, people are doing some pretty amazing things, and so can you, and they're really happy about it, and we can applaud them, and we can applaud ourselves, and we can see ourselves in the bliss. So like I said, it's a revamp, not a repeat. It's time to figure out moving forward. Like, we should have learned a lot from the past few years about the importance of, yes, of hustle and hard work, but also the importance of seeking joy. And in some ways, seeking joy not just in spite of all the shit that's happening, but because of all the shit that's happening. And yes, I'm going to curse from time to time on this podcast. So if you've got little ones hanging about, you might want to cover their ears from time to time. I'll try to tell you when that's coming. But let me tell you something. In the schedule, especially on Thursdays when we're talking about the hotness factor, some of those conversations are going to be explicit and adult. So please make sure that you understand that. Don't listen with your kids around. So welcome to the Bliss Report. It is a fantastic honor to be able to come in here and talk to you about all things that should bring you or should help to enhance the joy in your life and to help you seek joy and turn your life into whatever it is that you want to be. Just because what you did yesterday is something that happened to you, but today is a blank canvas. Today is a blank slate. Today is the day to seek joy. Please make sure that you share, like, comment, and subscribe so that you get notifications on when we're going to be live, because we're going to go live sometimes. I'm so scared, y'all. But most importantly, put me on your subscribe list. Make sure I'm in your ear. You will get a new episode Monday through Friday. Monday through Friday in the morning. All the bliss that you can possibly stand in 30 to 45 minutes. And hopefully that will help you as you roll through your day, as you roll through your week, and as you roll through the weekend and on into the months. That'll help you put things in perspective. And it will help you bring down from the ether the joy that so many people are lacking in their day-to-day life. And that'll help you feel so much better about where you are in your everyday life. Because after all, we all deserve to be happy. We all deserve a chance at unlimited happiness, at exponential happiness, at pure bliss. So this is Dr. Sacheen signing off for this episode, this intro episode of the podcast. I do hope you'll stick around, and I will see you tomorrow. Have an excellent day, everyone, and bye now.